Hey guys, welcome back to Get Out Fishing. We have another repair video for you on the channel here. As you can maybe see already from the video, that got the old red boat back out. If you haven't seen us fishing in this, if you've been following us for any time, this thing's been sitting in need of repair for the last several months. It has had an intermittent firing problem with it, and every time the engine gets hot, it would cut out, and we've got stranded with it 2 different times now. Had to call a buddy one time to get us off the lake, and last time we went out thought maybe it was fixed and we were just flying down the lake, and then all of a sudden it goes out again, wouldn't fire up, and so we ended up trolling back during that trip as well. And so the boat's been sitting for the last several months, and I think what I've determined through talking to a local mechanic here and just through a lot of reading and research, that it looks like it's the CDI unit on the boat. And so Jim and I are going to show you how to replace the CDI unit, or the ignition pack, on a Mercury 50 horse engine today. Stay tuned.
Alright guys, so this is the part that we're going to be replacing right here. Typical thing that I like to do, I like to kind of put the part close to each other and just make sure that it kind of looks the same, which it does. We're going to take these covers off. There's going to be nuts under each post. We're going to take that off, get them all off, pull the unit off, and then put this one on there and get it all bolted up, and hopefully with a little luck it'll be fixed.
Alright guys, so the first thing I must be upfront about is I am not a boat mechanic at all, but I've worked on a lot of my own stuff over time, more out of necessity than anything else. And the boat system, the boat electronic system, seems difficult to a lot of people. It has been to me for a long time, but there's really only a few moving parts and pieces to it. I'm not going to walk through every one of them. There's the obvious ones. Obviously the battery's part of the ignition system, the starter's part of the ignition system, you've got the starter solenoid over here to the side. But the problem that I'm having with this boat is that it's firing intermittently, and only when it gets hot does the fire stop. And that's a telltale sign from the mechanics that I've talked to and all the research I've done, that the CDI unit is what's gone bad. The trigger also affects this CDI unit. So right here, and if I take the top of this off, you'll see it just a little bit better. But you've got your flywheel right here, and your flywheel has some magnets on the inside of it, and they go around the stator, and the stator is what produces the electricity for the engine, the fire for the engine. And then it comes down, and it's got a trigger. It comes down here, and it's got a trigger that sends it to it here. You can see the stator and the trigger both come out from underneath the flywheel itself, and they both come to this CDI unit. The stator sends the electricity to it, the trigger does the timing for your engine, and it tells it when to send fire to each one of the cylinders. And so for the most part, the trigger will have intermittent fire occasionally, but the telltale sign for the CDI unit, at least from everything I've seen so far, like I just said, is that the CDI unit itself, when it gets hot, will lose fire. And if you guys can see kind of in this new CDI unit, there's a circuit board in there with diodes, and it's all encased in some sort of a gel here, and it sits right up against the engine as the engine's getting hot. So I found a CDI unit relatively cheap. I'll put that in the link below and show you which one I bought for this 50 horse Mercury, and I'll put a link below, and I'll also put a link below to just a basic electrical system on a marine engine. Okay, so again, I talked about the flywheel a minute ago. I'll put this link down in the description. I talked about the flywheel, the trigger, the stator. This is the ignition pack, or the CDI unit, is what we're fixing to replace. I'm not going to get into the ignition coil and the wiring harnesses and the rectifier and all that stuff today, but this is a relatively easy fix. Like I said, I found this online for about 40 bucks. I know it's a cheap replacement, but I'm taking a guess at it. So we're going to get started replacing it, and shouldn't just take just a few minutes. Basically, like Jim showed just a minute ago, we checked and everything looks to be right. It's got the 4 horizontal plugs, it's got those 6 vertical plugs right here, and 2 screws. So we already popped these to get them a little bit loose. You may have to get a screwdriver and a hammer to pop these loose. We had to with this one. Pretty rough to get it loose. This one wasn't bad, but we're going to start taking those off right now. Let's take these screws out real quick. See if we can drop them into the pine straw down below and lose them. It's normally what happens, right?
Yep.
falls
It
down
always
in
happens to me.
falls down in the engine casing somewhere. All right, so that's it right there. It's the majority of it. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take these off one at a time. See if I can connect them to this as we go. Oh, very important too, I forgot to mention, the battery is completely disconnected in this unit. Whenever you're dealing with the electrical system, we've actually got the battery completely out of the boat, sitting over here on the fender well. Do not have your batteries hooked up when you're doing all this stuff. Last thing you need to do is arc something and burn up the brand new electrical unit that you just bought. Okay, so just to be clear, no batteries in the unit right now. If you'll notice, let me show you guys this kind of helps too. We took a picture of this a minute ago, but if you notice, it's got the colors of the wires here. So we got the green one, goes down here, right here. This is the brown one. You see that's brown. It's got the green and white. It's on this side. White, all goes on from there, okay? So just so you know, they got it all color coded in case you get confused. Alright, now we got the old unit off. Just going to go ahead and put this new unit back in, get it bolted in, and then we'll start connecting connecting all the wires to it. Now we need to hook all these ground wires back up. Alright.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go over the field where it's kind of pushing them out and go too tight. I think that's them, buddy.
Alright, and then you want to pop your caps down over top of your connections.
Yep. Just got to work them back down the wire. She's looking okay. Close enough.
Alright.
Alright.
Close up.
Next thing to do is crank it up and see if she runs. Well guys, success in replacing the CDI unit, unsuccessful in going on a fishing trip and testing out if it works. So yep. This is the look of defeat right now. So the engine's firing up every time. We put the muffs on it, fired up the engine, no water coming out of the water pump or out of the weep hole, and cleaned it all out, expecting maybe there's a dirt dauber in it. We did find out that it was clogged, but still won't weep out. Now got water coming out around the spark plug, which appears to be some sort of water jacket repair at some point. Hopefully nothing major. But that's how the video ends today. Some days you win, some days you lose.
We came, we saw, and we got blowed up.
We got blowed up. Thanks for watching. We are going to check this out. Thankfully we have that boat.
Boat number 2.
Boat number 2. So we're fixing to fire that boat up and go fishing here in a couple hours.
Always pays to have a friend with 2 boats.
Yes, it's always good to have 2 boats. The moral of the story is you need 2 boats, right? So thank you guys for watching. Hope you found this video helpful. If you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. We will catch you guys in the next video. Until then, take every opportunity you can to get out fishing.